Air India's forgotten founding father. www.levament.com. Air India's forgotten founding father today, 3:12 am. With the recent buzz about Air India privatization plans, there has also, naturally, been a lot of talk of the airline's glory days under JRD Tata. But the person who has been completely forgotten in all this is the man who actually thought up the idea of Air India, and whom JRD himself referred to as undoubtedly the founder of Indian air transport. Neville Vincent was a veteran World War I pilot. In the 1920s, he worked in Southeast Asia as a pilot and aviation evangelist. But he then moved to India, where he believed the scope for aviation was much greater. In 1928, Vincent spotted an exciting new business opportunity. Britain's Imperial Airways was starting an international service across Asia to Australia, and Air France and KLM were to follow shortly with services to Vietnam and Indonesia. Neville Vincent. These airlines would carry mail as well as passengers, and the mail bound for India would be unloaded at Karachi. From there it would be delivered to its destinations in the subcontinent by rail, a process that would take several days. Vincent, with his experience of flying mail in Malaya, conceived the idea of a domestic air mail service that would pick up the international mail in Karachi and deliver it to destinations in India within 24 hours. Since he didn't have the resources to set up such an airline himself, Vincent took his idea to a leading Parsi industrialist, Sahomi Mehta. Mehta, however, wasn't interested in the idea himself, but suggested that Vincent talk to the Tatas instead. Enter the Tatas. Sir Dorabji Tata, the then chairman of the Tata Group, was skeptical of Vincent's idea, but his up-and-coming nephew, the 24-year-old JRD, was an avid aviation buff himself, and helped persuade him to support the venture. Thus, Tata Air Mail was born, with an investment of Rs 2 lakh. The airline bought two single-engine Pusmoth aircraft with an average speed of 50 miles (80 kilometers) an hour, carrying a consignment of mail and, in case of need, one passenger who could sit on top of the mail bags. The pilot would navigate by following the railway lines below and, in case of doubt, resorting to a slide rule that he carried in his pocket. The chief pilot of this new airline was Vincent. Tata Air Mail was born with an investment of Rs 2 lakh. Tata Air Mail's maiden flight took off from Karachi on the 15th of October 1932. JRD Tata carried the mail from Karachi to Mumbai, and then Vincent, waiting in the second aircraft, carried the remaining mail from Mumbai to Chennai, stopping for the night at Bellary. The infant airline consisted of one full-time pilot, two part-time pilots, one part-time engineer, and a couple of apprentice mechanics. Its headquarters was a palm-thatched shed on a mud airfield at Juhu, which was submerged below sea level every monsoon, forcing them to shift base to Pune. The airline's motto, as JRD later recounted, was, "Mail may be lost but never delayed, passengers may be delayed but never lost." In its first year, Tata Air Mail went on to make a profit of Rs 60,000, carrying a total of 10 tons of mail, as well as 155 intrepid passengers. Its service was, from very the beginning, outstanding. The Directorate of Civil Aviation noted in its 1933 annual report, the airline had a 100% punctuality record, even during the most difficult monsoon months. It went on to wryly suggest that Imperial Airways might send its staff to Tatas to see how it's done. Soon, the airline extended its service to Delhi, via Indore, Bhopal and Gwalior, Hyderabad, Goa and across the Palk Strait to Colombo. It had also upgraded to larger, more sophisticated aircraft, and was carrying more passengers, so it changed its name to the more appropriate Tata Airlines. In 1938, 34-year-old JRD was appointed chairman of the Tata Group, but his main interest continued to be the airline, for which he saw an extremely promising future, given the emerging global aviation trends. Manufacturing dreams. The outbreak of World War II, however, was a major disruption for Tata Airlines. Its services were commandeered by the government to carry troops and military supplies. But JRD and Vincent spotted a very exciting alternative opportunity to get into aircraft manufacturing to help the war effort, drawing on their own aviation experience, combined with the resources of the Tatas. The Tata Group was already making armored cars called Tatinagars for use against Rommel's armies in North Africa. They believed aircraft manufacturing would be a great business opportunity, especially in the post-war world. In 1942, JRD and Vincent submitted a plan to the British government to set up a company named Tata Aircraft, which would mass produce bomber aircraft in Pune. The model they proposed making was the de Havilland Mosquito that was playing a key role in the RAF bombings of Germany, including the dam busters that had destroyed key dams and flooded Ruhr Valley. The project was approved, and Tata Aircraft was set up, with a large plant in Pune, ready to start production. But by then the course of the war had changed and the RAF no longer needed bombers, it needed gliders for the forthcoming invasion of Europe. Vincent flew to England to discuss the change of plan with Lord Beaverbrook, Churchill's Minister for Aircraft Production. On his way back to India, Vincent was supposed to fly Imperial Airways, but the problem was the civilian airline flew by a long, circuitous route to avoid being attacked by German fighter aircraft. So, in his characteristic hurry, Vincent managed to wangle a lift on an RAF bomber, which would help him get back to India faster. Somewhere over the Atlantic. Unfortunately, the aircraft never reached its destination, it vanished off the coast of France. Back at the Tata headquarters in Mumbai there was great confusion, because officially Vincent and his aircraft were simply reported as missing. JRD kept waiting for Vincent to somehow turn up, but as the weeks passed it became clear that he had been shot down over the Atlantic. His body was never found. A few weeks later, JRD received a letter from the British government cancelling their order for gliders, a big blow to the Tatas, who had made a huge investment in the project. JRD is said to have kept a photograph of Vincent on his desk in remembrance, alongside that of his father. Vincent's death was a great blow to him, because it was his vision, experience and energy that had played a key role in creating and building the airline. That's more, just before he died, JRD and he had been discussing the airline's future in the exciting new world that would open up at the end of the war, especially given India's strategic position on the international air routes. That exciting future did indeed come to pass, with Tata Airlines evolving into Air India and going international, but Vincent himself was not there to see it happen. Today, sadly, Neville Vincent is just an unrecognizable figure in an old photograph, standing next to JRD, nothing more. Anwar Ali Khan is an advertising professional and social historian.